Hi friends, welcome back to Peaceful Mama. Today is a glorious day. It's beautiful outside. Hope you are doing well and God has been good to you. Today I am going to show you how to make one of our family's favorite treats, which is chocolate chip cookies. I don't get to make them a whole lot, not as much as I'd like to, but they don't stay in the house very long either. But they're very easy to make. We do have a house full, so we have 4 kids, and my mom has dementia, and my dad also, and my husband, he works out of town. But if I get interrupted, you'll know why. But chocolate chip cookies are so easy to make, just like bread. The 2 key things for making chocolate chip cookies, and I apologize, it's the first time I've done a video without someone videoing me. So you have to give me patience to show everything. So the 2 key things is the butter and the flour. The butter, you don't want to make it piping hot. You just want it barely warm. And I just warm mine in the microwave. You could do it on the stove, but it would take longer to do that. And then the flour, the key to having fluffy chocolate chip cookies is sifting it. And I have this old school sifter that it's my mom's. I know they make better versions of it now, but that's what I use to sift my flour. And I just tried it on I just made 2 made 2 batches of yeast bread, and I sifted my flour this time because I've heard it. I just wanted to see what it would do, because it makes the cookies so fluffy, and so I was like, well, I'm going to try that with my bread, even though the recipe doesn't call for it. But going to get started. So you start with the sugars, which is brown sugar and regular sugar. Now I make my own brown sugar. All it is molasses and white sugar. And it's very easy to make. The molasses is a little sticky and messy, but other than that, I'll never buy brown sugar ever again. You're going to mix your butter and your sugar together first. So I'm making 3 batches. Now you don't have to do that many if you don't have that many people in your family. So you need 1/2 cup of butter for the recipe. But I'm going to do 1.5 cups because I'm doing 3 batches. So that's what I'm going to start with. And I usually use butter that is, what am I trying to say? Real butter. This is not really real butter, but it's what we have on hand right now. So that's what I'm going to use. And what I do is I just put it in a bowl, microwave bowl that it can be microwaved, and let it melt for a few seconds. It doesn't take long. And then it'll be ready. So like I said, it calls for 1/2 cup of butter, but I'm using 1.5 cups because I'm tripling my recipe. We like our cookies big too. It's a nice treat for everyone. I am going to need to get a spatula, so excuse me one moment. Okay, I like to use spatulas for scraping food out and getting all the excess. I don't like to waste any food because we go through a lot around here. So this is a cup And I know you can't really see what I'm doing, and I apologize again. I usually have one of my kids video me, but they're all busy. So I just decided to do it on my own this time. Okay, now I need a 1/2 cup of butter. I just did a cup, so now I need a 1/2 cup. So 1/2 cup. One time we didn't sift the cookies. I mean, not the cookies. We didn't sift the flour. And the cookies did not rise. Like, they just weren't fluffy. They weren't as good. So if you miss that step, you're going to definitely tell a difference. It's a major step to miss. But that's when I was first learning how to make them. And I'll never buy store-bought cookies ever again. Like, I just don't buy them. I have all the recipe, all the ingredients. All it is butter, brown sugar, regular sugar, chocolate chips, obviously, baking soda, vanilla extract, and eggs. And that's it. Most ingredients that you already have on hand. So I'm going to go put this in the microwave. I'm starting with 1 minute. I don't know if I need to do it that long, but that's what we're going to start with. And I need to put my butter away. But I usually use my mixer bowl, but I got my bread dough in there rising, so I'm just gonna use what I got on hand and go from there. I know if you've been watching my videos and following me, I make a lot of things on hand, a lot of things from scratch. It's a lot cheaper for us, and I like having clean ingredients in our food. See, I made this. Actually, my hands. I just washed them, so nope, it's not too hot. What was I gonna say? I don't remember what I was gonna say, but I like knowing what the ingredients are. And so cooking our food and from scratch is so much healthier anyways if you have the time. If you don't, if you're a working mom out of the home, then it's not as easy. I get it. The stuff that's pre-made, unfortunately, most of it has preservatives in it that are not good for you. In my eyes, they're not. It's full of a bunch of chemicals and stuff that I just don't agree to have my kids eating. So I got the butter in there. Now I'm going to add, it calls for a 1/2 cup of sugar. So I'm going to do another 1.5 cups of sugar because I'm tripling my recipe. I got to wash my measuring cup real quick. And I will leave this recipe in the comments so that you will have the recipe. Or you can just watch the video. But it's always good to have the recipe in front of you because if you forget something, it's easier to see it on a recipe than in when you're watching a video. At least for me it is. I'm old school. I like, we homeschool, and I don't like everything online, how stuff is today, but I like to have the books in front of us. Of course, we do a lot of hands-on work too. So, but we do some online. It's not all work-based, and I don't believe in kids having to sit and do worksheets all day. I mean, might as well have them in public school that way. And no offense to anybody that puts their kids in public school. We just choose not to. And that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons we homeschool. So this is a cup. And again, it calls for 1/2 cup of sugar, which is a lot of sugar. So we're using 1.5 cups of sugar. I don't use a whole lot of sugar. Like in my bread, I use honey instead, and it's so good. If you've never made homemade bread, I encourage you. I have a video on that too. I encourage you to try it. I wish I would have started making my own bread years ago, but I didn't really have the time either, so it makes a difference. Okay, the next thing is you need 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So I need 3/4 cups because I'm tripling it. So 3/4 of brown sugar. Brown sugar is, I don't understand why anybody really buy. I mean, we buy in bulk for a lot of things, and I just buy a big 32-ounce bottle of it, and it lasts forever. Because really, molasses is the only thing I use to make brown sugar. So far, I can't think of anything that we made gingerbread houses over the holiday. But that's it. That's the only thing I have ever used it for. So, alright, I'm going to put my brown sugar in. And now we're going to mix it. This is all done by hand. You could do it with a mixer. I just chose not to. The next step, we're going to add, I'm just going to check my notes again. We're going to add vanilla, egg, and flour, and salt. So, for the vanilla, you need 2 teaspoons. So, again, I'm going to do 6 teaspoons of vanilla. My spoon will not, or my mixer will not stay up. It's kind of aggravating. Just leave it there. Okay. So 6 teaspoons of vanilla extract. 2 teaspoons if you're just doing one batch. And I need to turn the water off or else it's gonna. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try not to talk when I'm measuring because I have messed up so many times counting, and I don't want to mess this recipe up. So the next thing is an egg. So you add 1 egg to it. And I'm adding 3. Which I need a little bowl for that. I'm going to grab my same bowl that I was using because I try to eliminate as much dishes as I can because we go through a lot. So it's better off that way. Try to be conservative as much as I can. But cooking is something I never really enjoyed. I always loved baking, but just never had time for it. I used to run a daycare out of our home for years, but we are now, my mom's health is not the best. Like I said, she has dementia and my dad needs my help, so I have been here for 2.5 years helping him with her. So, but you'd think with running a daycare you could, but I mean, I don't know. I probably would make the time for it now if I went back to doing that. But that was before I was really studying what I was eating. You know, I didn't care about the preservatives and stuff. And to some people, I mean, that probably doesn't matter to you. Like my husband, he likes eating all that stuff, but he's patient with me on that. You know, he knows it's better for him. He's old. He's 4 years older than me, so the preservatives are not the best for you. And mix all that up. Now we are going to add the flour. I feel like there is something else I need to add. But I don't think so. Let me double check. No. I'm going to do the flat. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do all of the... So now we need half a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm sorry. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. So that will be, for me, 1.5 teaspoons. So 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. I'm going to put mine in little jars. But again, this is only 1/2 teaspoon if you're doing one batch. Honestly though, one batch of cookies is not even enough for a small family. I mean, unless you want to make small cookies. For us, we like the bigger ones. So, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. I'm just gonna, that is done. And then we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I think I failed to get out. Yep, I don't see my salt out. So I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons of salt. 1 teaspoon and a half. Oops, too much. Okay, that's probably good. All right, and then I have got, now we're going to do the flour. Now the flour is only 1 cup, 1 3/4 cup. But mine will be more because I'm tripling it. And you most certainly need to sift your flour. And mix all this up together. Baking is something that, like I said, I always enjoyed doing, not as much as I do now. think that it's quite big. More than I do a lot of freezer meal preparations because I don't like to cook on the weekend because my husband's not here during the week. So I try to not spend a lot of hours, a lot of time in the kitchen because of that. So we need 3 cups of flour. I was thinking it was more flour than that, but I guess not. So 3 cups of flour. I gotta find my flour. Here it is. We buy our flour in bulk also at Azure Standard. If you buy organic flour, you need to buy it from there, like in bulk. It's so much cheaper. It's $31 for a 25-pound bag. And the only other place I have found flour, organic flour in bulk, is Amazon, and it's $60 a bag. Who can afford that? That's just ridiculous. How they can even charge that to people. But they do, and people pay it because, you know, some people like myself, I used to never check prices and compare, and now I shop from probably 6 different stores, I would say. I find more of the cheapest prices, and that's where I go. So I'm gonna put 3 cups, and I don't know why I just use my spoon. Oops. Sorry guys, told you it's gonna be interesting. But could have just stuck my I lost my measuring cup in there instead of using my spoon, which took me forever. Okay, so that is 2 cups. Oh, and also when you sift your flour, I just now thought about this. You lose about a cup of flour when you sift it. So I'm going to add more than 3 cups. Because the density in your flour, well, because you know it's packed in there when you buy it. I would love to have one of those meal things where you bring your own flour, but maybe one day. For now, I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing. All right, that's 3 cups, and then I need 3 3/4 cup of flour. And then I'm going to add in, so I'll probably add in I don't know, a 1/2 cup to a cup of flour when you are sifting it. Just because you lose that density. And I'm trying to do, my phone is propped up against the flour container. So I'm trying to wean this. It's not working too good. Okay, then I'm going to add about another 3/4 cup. That's about half. And then another half. That should do it. And I'm going to tell you, we're very clean people. But you know how summertime and those gnats, those fruit flies, and the flies that get in your house, they will come out of the woodwork. The fruit flies. Do not leave anything. Like I made my bread, my yeast bread earlier, and you have to mix the water, honey, and yeast together, and then let it sit for 5 minutes. So I let it sit, and I went and folded a load of laundry. Came back, and there's two of those fruit flies in my mixture. So make sure you cover it up, because that just really made me so ill. It made me so bad. I was like, oh, glad I didn't have my flour in there before I lost a lot of ingredients anyway. Okay, so after the flour, we did a half a cup of butter, half a cup of sugar, 1/4 of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 egg, 1 3/4 cup of flour sifted, and I use all-purpose. That's the only flour I buy, because you can use it for everything. Then a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and then a half a teaspoon of salt, and then 1 cup of chocolate chips. And forgot what I was going to say about that. Again, I will link the recipe at the bottom so that you can see the recipe. I'll show you what it looks like so far. I don't know if you can see that, but it's looking pretty good. So, I'll tell you, times like they are today, the price is going up so much. Cooking from home, I mean, I feel like God has opened our eyes, back to Bible times, and, how the women used to spend hours baking and kneading, and I kind of feel that way some days. And my son, he's picked up on it quite a bit. He made, first time ever, made some cinnamon rolls this morning, and they were really good. The only thing, he didn't let them cook long enough, but we put them back in there. But he's 13 years old, and he does really well with cooking, baking, more so cooking than anything. But he does really well with it. I'm real proud of him. I keep telling him I think he's going to have his own restaurant one day or something. Who knows? Never know. But this is what my batter looks like. It's getting there. And then all you do is you add your chocolate chips. And then once you add your chocolate chips, I do not, like when I make my cookie dough, I do not bake the cookies the same day. I let it sit in the fridge because it just seems to me it gets thicker. And then the next day or two, I'll make the cookies. And then you just put it on 350 and let them bake. I do not remember how long you gotta cook them, but I'll have a second video for that because I've not figured out how to link my videos yet. So for YouTube, but that is perfect dough right there. Okay, so now I'm going to add, once I get this dough out, my chocolate chips. And then we'll be set. My girls will be so happy. I have a 5-year-old little girl, a 7-year-old little girl, a 13-year-old boy, and a 16-year-old girl. They are the delight in my world. They all come with different gifts. So I'm going to add in my chocolate chips. And then I will see you next time. It's probably going to take me a while to get that out. But I'm going to add in my chocolate chips. We also buy those from Azure Standard in bulk. Ooh, they're so yummy. Nice little treat. Which I need 3 cups of these. I may have to get another drawer out. That's 1. This is probably right at 3. 2, 3. Yeah, it's right at 3. Okay. let's see, I need a big spoon. So I'm gonna mix all of this together and try to get the rest of this out. I don't know if it will, but I just wanted to show you what it's gonna look like. I don't care what anybody says, the cookie dough that's you can buy in the store that's pre-made, or the cookies, I need a wooden spoon, or the cookies that are pre-packaged do no justice. I'm not just saying that because they're mine, but once you get used to that homemade taste, you won't go back. So I'm just going to mix all the, and these are the mini chocolate chips. It's a lot of chocolate chips. Alright guys, I will see you next time on part 2 of chocolate chip cookie baking. And if you like what you see, like and subscribe. Thank you and have a blessed day.